This is getting better and more fascinating than anything I could have ever imagined. I had no earthly idea that I would be as captivated by this, as I had no idea that there would be so many stories single-handedly converging on the country simultaneously. See, this is the part which is the most fascinating. It's all moving in this cacophony. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. It's just so we're going to sort through this. We're going to take the issues bit by bit, and we're going to remind you that we have 127 days until the election. 127 days. Now, you need to step back and let me help you with a few things here, because it is overwhelming. Absolutely overwhelming. You are being hit with so much stuff you don't know where to go with this. Let me see if I can help. First, the time to debate the debate is over. You can still talk about it if you'd like. It's important to an extent. It's okay. It's kind of funny and sad. I personally feel maybe 1% sadness for him, followed by 99% contempt and despising these people who want to destroy my country. Okay? There have been terrible people in the world who have been who've had terrible things happen to them. I don't lose a moment of sleep over it. I'm not going to pretend to you that this feeling of sadness has overcome. No, I'm not going to say that. It's ridiculous. I don't believe it. I don't believe any of it. I don't believe any of it. None. I'm telling you right now, I despise this man. I despise this man and his wife and the Democrats and whoever these people are. I despise them to my core. They are the enemy. They may not know they're the enemy. They may say, you don't understand. We're on the Americans. Fine. I don't care. During the Civil War, both sides were technically Americans, but they were trying to basically eliminate each other. Make no mistake about it. These people are the enemy. They are vicious. And I don't care how they got there or what their intentions were or what, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. I have been through this. And the only way we are going to win is to crush these people. And if it starts with him, so be it. So the next time, if you want to prevent that, the next time you want to prevent some coot, some dotard, some watery-eyed fool from being made a fool of, don't put him up for president. This was your choice. Remember, as we learned on Jack Reacher, remember, you wanted this. You thought he was great. You've known since 2016 this man was on the decline. Don't give me this stuff. He was a little bit better, but we knew when he was off into these wild wisps of fancy with these ridiculous stories about it. Corn pop and all of this nonsense. We've been through this. We've been through this. So don't tell me now that you're shocked. Don't tell me now. Don't expect me to all of a sudden what? Believe if you honestly are telling me, truthfully, if you're looking at me and you're saying that you truly and honestly did not know he was this bad, I have even less respect for you, if that's even possible. Now, let me explain a couple of things. And this is critical for the rudiments. We have a lot to discuss. So let me thank you for being here and make sure, of course, you like the video and subscribe to the channel because people, they're losing subscriptions. People are finding out that they're unsubscribed. Number one, let me explain something that's obvious. We always love to see who's running the show. Since maybe 2021, because when it became really official, and I'm learning from all of my sources and kind of the dark web and the behind the scenes and the players, they were lining Gavin Newsom up for 7 years ago. Easy. But it never became this obvious. Gavin Newsom is definitely the 2028 nominee, no matter what. And remember Gretchen Whitmer. I'm not trying to play this, I told you so, but I'm playing I told you so. When I said Gretchen Whitmer, people that I talked to, friends of mine, said, "Ew," and I said, "I'm not asking you what you like. You're not listening to me. I'm telling you this is who it is." Ew. I said, "Stop doing that." I don't know why people think that somehow this is just like I lost a lot of my stupid Republicans friends by saying, get off this ridiculous joke about Carrie Lake and Tulsi Gabbard, not because they're bad people, not because they're not smart. Nothing's happening with them. I'm telling you. I'm not doing an appraisal of whether I like them or not. Nothing's happening with them. I'm telling you. I don't care about them personally. I don't care whether they're phonies. Doesn't matter. They're all phonies. Everybody's a phony. So when I tell people this is it, but I like Tulsi Gabbard. I don't care whether you like Tulsi Gabbard. She's not right. No. Maybe down the road. Maybe this is one of those things where you're just selected. See, in every other walk of life, it's performance that means something. Taylor Swift, people will laugh at all the time. She's packing every stadium in the world. So you can laugh at her all you want. She's producing it. You might say, well, I think that Bonnie Raitt is better. Whoever, I'm just picking a name out. Well, Bonnie Raitt's not going to be packing stadiums. So you might be right. You might be quantitatively, correct. You might laugh at Taylor Swift, but she's producing. Politics has nothing to do about who's the best, who's the smartest, who's the brightest. It's the people that are selected by the party elders or the vector ghouls and overlords of the various shadow government enterprises that determine who's who. Does this make any sense to you? I hope it does. Because Americans don't know this. They think that somehow this is about who's good or who's honest or who's a good guy or I don't know where this comes from. I swear to God, I have no idea where this comes from. I have no idea how people can be so silly as to think that there's some correctness to this. I don't understand it. I do not understand it. I don't. Okay, that being said, okay? So this is the way it is. Next rule, and listen carefully, okay? There is a contingent, a group of people who are involved. Imagine a circle within a concentric circle, within another circle, and there's this group of these circles, these people. Okay, fine. Listen carefully. The people who are involved right now want Joe Biden to take this all the way. If they spoke the truth to you, what they would be telling you is simply this: we don't care if he's clinically dead. It doesn't matter. We're calling the shots. It doesn't matter who's the president. We call the shots. We do. He could be in a coma. He could have a stroke. He could have dementia. He could be whatever he wants. We call the shots. And if something happens, and this is important, if something happens where he is somehow, through some I don't know what it is, replaced with Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is going to bring in his group. Now, many of them are shared, but Gavin Newsom is the California mafia. Remember when I told you this? Remember, I hope you read this great article. There's the Newsoms, the D'Alessandros, the Pelosi's, the Browns, and the Gettys. This is a new contingent. Remember when Reagan came in, he brought the kitchen cabinet, he brought Mike Deaver, and he brought Meese, and he brought Lynn Nofziger, and Jim Baker, and all the, I mean, yeah, but he brought these, he brought a brand new, there was a new vector. So Obama understands something. This is the new wave. They want to put him off maybe in 28, maybe, but not now. They realize this is their last time, their last shot, and they want Joe Biden in. If it's let's say Gavin Newsom, they lose their power. Newsom's bringing in his own people. Understand that. Understand that. This has nothing to do with Joe Biden. They don't care who Joe Biden is. Remember during the, you probably saw it in the movie Casino, but in real life, when the Chicago mob put in this guy, Alan, I don't know what his name was. He ran the casinos or whatever it was. He was a mob mole. He was a cutout. He was somebody who just did what they wanted. It was a proxy, did their bidding. That's what Joe Biden is. Joe Biden has nothing to do with being Joe Biden. Joe Biden is their guy. He's their sock puppet that they are responsible in helping. Greg Powell, welcome, my friend. A brand new welcome, a member. Raul says, double speak and double think kept Biden relevant. Among other things, true. 700 people watching, only 181 likes. You are so correct. We've got to fix this, my friends. We have to fix this. Now, and thank you, by the way. Let's go through this. Here's the next thing. Bill Ackman is enjoying a new fund. He is the big hedge funder, Pershing Square. He's the guy who was responsible for getting rid of Gay. Remember the head of the president of Harvard? He was a part of this anti-Semitism, getting rid of all these anti-Semitic people, the pro-Palestinian, the anti-Israel. He was the one who went in and he said, what her name was, it was not Claudine Gay. There was notion of plagiarism, and then they even got back at his wife. I mean, it was ridiculous. But Bill Ackman loves this. He is the darling. He is the darling of, and he is loving this, which is great. People love to be important. People love the power of influence. There are a lot of people who say, oh no, I just want to be rich and I'll be quiet. Henry Kissinger said, I don't want to be rich. He had money, but he wasn't the richest guy in the world, but he had power. Ackman loves this. And he's a very smart guy and very, very good. And he's saying things like Jill Biden is in charge of this and Jill Biden is pushing him. And you're kidding me. I mean, you're kidding me. These people cannot possibly be that naive as to think that Jill Biden is running the show. Jill Biden, what are you talking about? People say stuff just to say stuff. Remember, there's no correction here. Nobody comes forward and says, hey, remember, you were wrong. You were wrong about this. Is she the Edith Wilson? If you want to read a story, if you want to see Edith Woodrow Wilson's wife, oh my God, that is the most incredible story. Edith Bowling Gant Wilson. Wow. she might have been the most allegedly connected person by virtue of genealogy of anybody in American history. She was linked to like Pocahontas and you name it. She had the key to Woodrow Wilson's desk when they were courting and he was the president. He would send her. They wouldn't have like phone sex. He would talk to her about policy, and she says, "You know that really turns me on, Woody. I give me a Woody." And she was writing. She had access to codes when he had his stroke. She was writing legislation. She was unprecedented. Unprecedented. If you really want to read history, read about Edith Wilson, Edith Bowling Gant. Anyway, Jill Biden is a joke. Jill Biden is just there. She's like Laura Bush. She's like Barbara Bush. She's like Nancy Reagan. Nancy Reagan had a lot of power over Ronnie, but wasn't calling the shots. Jill Biden, sorry, Bill Ackman, Jill Biden is doing none of this. None of this. She's not calling the shots. She has no say at all. Nothing. Nothing. And deep down inside, I don't know how much of this she really likes. I don't know who wants this. I don't know who truly wants to be the first lady of this horrible administration where this demented coot is walking around and embarrassing her. This is not what they've got their money. She's set. The White House is a prison. They don't go anywhere. That's why don't be surprised if when Trump wins, Melania says, screw this. Barron and I, we're staying in Florida. We don't need this. It's happened before. Bess Truman told Margaret, we're getting the hell out of here. Truman used to answer the phone sometimes at the White House. He was alone. He was lonely. He'd walk around. Seriously. He was, Bess said, I got to be here for this. This is nuts. Remember, they drove back to Independence, drove back in a car. He bought a car. Anyway, I love history. But this history is even better. So let me just end this canard. Bill Ackman, you may know, and maybe he may say to himself, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying this stuff because I just enjoy that. I just enjoy being out there. I've been nobody's known who I was, and I'm a gazillionaire, and I brought down what's her name from Harvard, and okay, fine. So that's ridiculous. The people who run the show are simply this. It's a conglomerate. It's called This Machine. And everybody in Washington, for 50 years, he has been there. He is the darling of the deep state, as we call it, the Washington cabal, the folks who run the show, people in terms of agencies. You want somebody who knows how the skids are greased and how things work to be in charge. He is the best. Now, that's why, California would be the fifth leading economy of the world in terms of GDP. It'd be the 38th largest country. Some serious stuff here. But it's still not Washington. There is nothing like this. This is, and we'll get to the Chevron case in a moment, but this is like something you've never seen before. You can't imagine this. It is, with a senior executive service, it is like a virus on top of a virus on top of a virus, and it doesn't seem to care whatever happens to the country. It runs independent of anything. They don't care about gay rights or this. Many times, believe it or not, people have found that whenever there's a change, let me explain to you. The biggest fraud in the world is the fact that America is all pro-gay rights. Now, when we say gay rights, it starts like this. Most, I would say, 80%, 90% of Americans believe this. You shouldn't discriminate against people because of their gender or their sexuality when it doesn't really make a difference. It doesn't matter. Everybody's got a gay friend. Everybody's got a gay relative. May have a gay son. That's where America is right now. You got that? That's where America is. Same thing with race. My God, it's the year 2024. There's no Jim Crow is dead. Americans love black stars, musicians, culture. Discrimination, it's over with. But BLM, no. Antifa, no. Gays, sure. These people. Remember who Divine is? He was in those John Waters movies with that scary looking guy with the hideous, with the no eyebrows and the big wigs, and I was like, what is this? It was frightening. RuPaul is one thing. This was like Broderick Crawford in drag. RuPaul is one thing. This is like the Rachel Levines. Nobody likes that. Let me say this carefully and clearly. Nobody wants anybody, wish these people harm or anything. But when you bring out a man dressed like a dress, talk like this, talks about surgically modifying children permanently, no. Do you think the deep state in Washington cares about this? No, they don't care about that. They're there. Whatever happens, I got my gig at the Department of Energy. I got my thing here. I'm on J Street. I'm the lobbyist. That's all I care about. Ryan says, major Dem figures seeming to rally around Biden on the Sunday shows, but the donors are likely to decide Biden's fate. No, you are correct. And do me a favor, Ryan. Thank you. Forget the Sunday shows. Please forget the Sunday shows. They don't matter. It's like you seem to be from across the pond. In our country, unless you happen to be trading in euros, in our country, if you're a football fan, we don't care about preseason. We don't care about preseason. We don't care what Michael K., good guy, by the way, good friend of mine, but what he says about the Yankees. Who cares what Michael? I want to see what the Yankees are doing. They're doing very well, by the way. But that the Sunday shows are nothing. The Sunday shows are a vestige from the days of Irving R. Levine and Charles Collingwood, and they matter. Tim Russert. They made money then. Those people unfortunately died. And these are remnants of this. This is a gasping. You ever see a fish on a dock or on a pier? You're out fishing and you throw this thing and it's sad. It's just sitting there. It's out of water, literally. And it's gasping and it's still alive, but it's just hanging on. And you want to say, throw him back in the water. Come on. This isn't the right amount. That's what Sunday shows are. They're like this gasping fish that says, we want to be relevant again. Nobody cares what you're saying. You want to see relevant? Look at Dr. Phil with the RFK. Oh, and let me just time it right. I got to tell you something about this guy. I better not hear from any of you people that you have any feelings towards this clown, this phony, and this idiot Shanahan. Do you know that Bobby Kennedy, who lives in California, let me tell you, California is like 39 million, 40 million. 38th biggest country in the world, 5th biggest GDP. Newsom is termed out. He can't be president. I mean, governor anymore. Bobby Kennedy could walk in and say, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be the governor of California. He could own it. He could just walk in and just say, he's not going to be president, but he doesn't want to do this. Because he and that dimwit, that dingbat, are into the world of campaign of ideas. No, schmuck, listen. If you're legit, you're going to walk into California, you're going to say, it's mine. Okay, take it. He doesn't want it. Because he's not serious about this. He may also be scared. We don't know what they told. Who knows what they tell Kennedys? I have no idea. But he's a fraud. He is the biggest fraud with these stupid, we have a debate. Stop it. You're not serious about this stuff. You're not serious. And you really weren't serious when you turned to Shmuley Boteach, who, by the way, you notice how you don't see Shmuley anymore. You notice that? See, I'm very good at, I'm good at finding out who's not here anymore. I have this ability. Seriously. It's weird. It's like if I walk in, I'm saying, hey, this thing's been moved, or something's not right here. It's called judgment. Mrs. L, we're talking about a friend of ours who, for some reason, he's like AWOL. We don't know where he is. It's like, what happened to him? I don't know. Very odd. Well, Shmuley Boteach, who was made a fool of repeatedly, whose act just went over the top, when he and Bobby Kennedy, before October the 7th, hooked up with this, oh, man. See, Israel is the topic nobody is talking about. Nobody. They're not even getting to that. It's just not talked about in this country. It's not talked about. I talk to friends of mine in Europe and around the world, and I go online. It's like it is the biggest chatter. Not in this country. We don't say a word about it. Nothing. And I don't know what this is going to do to Bibi's trip, by the way, which is just it's going to be a disaster coming to Congress when you have a president who basically has been, I don't know what the word is, who's just embarrassed. He's gone. And so who's running the show? So when Bibi comes and speaks to who? What? Kamala Harris? And that's not even a Democratic thing. The Democrats are so fractionalized because they're saying, wait a minute, there are many, many cores of Democrats. There's the classic liberal Democrat from the 60s to 70s that I could relate to, anti-war, civil rights, not crazy, not lunatics at all. Not lunatics at all. Anti-war, now they're saying, what is this? What is this? Why are you throwing money at them? What is going on here? There are Democrats who were saying, and classic progressive liberals who were saying, there's a massacre going on. Forget the history of the Nakba in 1948. We're not talking about that. We're talking about this is a horror stuff. This is a massacre. You don't want to call it genocide? Don't call it genocide. Massacre, annihilation, disaster. And they're saying, this has got to stop. And we're funneling this stuff. We're throwing bombs. What's going on? Did we not learn? Remember what happened during Vietnam with Agent Orange and with napalm and with it's the same group of people who fought that then, who are now saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? And just because somebody says, well, you understand Hamas, nobody's buying this anymore. But in this country, you never hear it. It's just like nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about it. Well, you may not be talking about it, but the Democrats are talking about it, and they are PO'd. Or as we say in West Tampa, empingado. They're furious. Then we have another group of people led by that absolute imprisoned, feckless, gonadless, orchiectomied, gelding, Antony Blinken. You notice you haven't been hearing about him? The worst. who now is basically, they're trying this with Ukraine. Again, people are saying, what are you doing? Now we've got the left and we got the right. Let me tell you something. You can just put Joe over here for a moment. I know what I'm talking about. You're not going to hear anybody from Donnie Deutsch and these cretins, these nitwits. The Real Housewives of New Jersey are like the Mont Pelerin Society compared to these idiots on these morning shows. Donnie Deutsch, Mike Barnacle, Jonathan Capehart. What is going on? Oh. And one little bit of advice. Not that it matters. I don't even watch this stuff, but I saw this the other day on my YouTube rotation. Harold Ford Jr. must have pictures of whoever's running Fox News with a barn owl outfit or some kind of a petting zoo, event, wearing a woodchuck outfit or something. This is the weirdest. Harold Ford Jr. is put it this way, I'd rather hear Joe Biden explain string theory than anything. Harold Ford Jr. is the most boring human being who has ever walked the planet. Harold Ford Jr. could be introducing you at an awards ceremony. You say, no, that's okay. Just make him stop. Yeah, but he's giving you an award. I know, I just can't. I don't know who he's talking about. He's talking about you. I hate this guy. It's you. He would make you hate you if he explained you. Harold Ford Jr. could single-handedly reverse teen pregnancy by discussing and explaining the Sex Act. He's the worst. He must have pictures of people or something. What are you doing? They don't care anymore. These jadroles still think that Jesse Waters and these bad acts, Typhoid or whatever the guy with the hat is, they just don't get it. I'm telling you. Did you happen to see Tucker Carlson speak over an hour in Australia? Some of the best stuff ever. Listen to Joe Rogan. Listen to Lex Friedman. Listen to Napolitano. Listen to McGregor. Listen to Scott Ritter. Listen to whoever you want. Oh God. Well, I won't go that far. But anyway, but the point is, everything's changing. So going back, Ryan, to what you said, Sunday talk shows, morning shows, what? Did you hear? Let me go back to this one. Here's another one too. I don't know where these people are all of a sudden saying, we had no idea that Joe was. Are you still saying that? You know what the latest one is? Have you heard the latest? Well, they said, well, Joe had a cold. Uh-huh. You think that's it? You think he had a cold? And you're sticking in the story. Oh, yeah. The latest one was that, what was it, honey? He had the granddaughter or something, or? Oh, he was over prepared. Now, let me tell you something. I don't know if it was Dana Bash, if it was Jake Tapper, but they gave him the questions ahead of time. And the reason why is not because of the earpiece, but because he memorized. And he started coming out like, brrr. This is a guy who doesn't know where anybody is. He introduces dead people. He thinks his sister is his wife. He doesn't know where he is. But this is a guy who is spewing out statistics, oftentimes incorrect, over whatever he was. You've got to be kidding me. He was given the answers. He was told this is what you're going to say. He knew this because he sped them out. He didn't just happen to have these things ready to go. Again, they were a bit garbled. He was ready to go. Does it matter? No. Another thing. Yeah, no, huh? Yeah, he was. But so anyway, they tried to rig it. I want to throw this one also out there. Every now and then, somebody will say Trump should have gone in for the kill. Trump should have just, when he brought this thing up about, well, you gave money to a porn star, he should have let him have it. Absolutely not. Had Trump done anything, said anything, even if he was correct, nobody would be talking about Biden today. Nobody. Everybody is watching in horror as to what Biden did. Do you hear what I'm saying? Had Trump done anything like that, had he said anything, he came across as almost kind. And the fact that there was no audience, people are missing this, made it worse because you could hear the whisper. There would have been no applause to drown out the think about that. Applause would have maybe said, well, maybe that was a good point. Well, they're clapping. I don't know. But there was nothing. There was nothing. There was the echo, the sound of silence. It was this incredible, this vacuity. So going back to what I said, it's not Jill Biden. If you think Jill Biden is going to tell the DNC and the Clintons and the Obamas and whoever really runs this show, hey, I'm in charge, and he's not going to budge. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Judas Goat Barbecue says overprepared and performance are not traditionally inversely proportional. Yes. They don't know what to say. When they say something, we laugh at them. But here's the best part. They don't care. They don't care. I don't understand sometimes how people don't. I gotta be careful how I say this because some people I know are listening to this. I have had people in my life, and I've said, you do realize that Cousin Eddie or the neighbor or the cousin, whatever, they're crazy, right? I mean, they might not be psychotic. They're not ready to be hospitalized at some kind of an institution, but they suffer from behavioral dysfunction. This is a personality disorder. They're extremely neurotic. They're nuts. They're really, really, seriously, embarrassingly crazy before hospitalization. They're nuts. And people have said, no, they're not. Yes, they are. And they don't realize this because maybe they're too close to it. Maybe they love this person. Maybe they've just been acclimated through the years. Maybe they've just grown up with this lunatic and they don't know any better. I've had this my whole life. I've seen this. This person's a nut. Or this person's just stupid. So obvious since I was a kid. I've always felt like an alien. I can tell you this one, I can tell you, oh my God. I can tell you stories. And I was right. I don't know what people need, what people want. But the point is that whether they're doing this on purpose, I don't know. I'm not sure. They're acting like it doesn't matter. Let me also tell you something that X and Twitter, whatever, this is a repository of great stuff, but also of nonsense. You know, you need a drain to get rid of water, but it also gets clogged up with stuff. And a drain is a good thing because it does its function. You have to have a drain in the sink or else the water would come over. We need a drain. I got it. X and Twitter and Facebook and all this stuff, they're good, I guess, because they provide this. But sometimes it gets clogged up. It gets clogged up like a toilet. It gets clogged up. And it doesn't work anymore. And sometimes you got to clean it out. That's also Twitter. You got people saying stuff is just ridiculous. And there are people who love what they say. Joy Reid, that's why she keeps changing her hair, so you'll keep noticing her. Wears a mop, cuts it off, puts this, wears a like an Indian headdress, gondolier's helmet, whatever it is, says something. Same thing with Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg is an actress. Whoopi Goldberg says, I don't have anything to say. I may be very good in terms of, she has an EGOT, she has an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, a Tony. She may be very effective, but she's dumb as rocks when it comes to being able to say something. Same thing goes for Joy Behar. But the reason why the show is successful is because people come on, they just say stupid, crazy things. That's a part of it. And I know this, and you know this, and we all know this. But it doesn't matter. Those formats exist only to say, did you see what happened? Did you see what happened? She said something stupid. Okay. We live in a society now where we appreciate stupid. Stupid gets the attention. Stupid gets the ticks, the up. This is what you need. And they're actually acting now for the first time like they just realized, well, that Joe's pretty. I would be embarrassed to say, wow, I never knew. You didn't know? How many compilations, how many reels have you not seen? Now, let me change something which is very, very important today. And we're going to hear about the immunity case. This is going to be the final little disposition of the Supreme Court's tenure. Today is it. Lori Cuck says, mothballs, LOL. By the way, Lori, did you ever smell mothballs? Yeah. Who held the wings? Remember that joke? Okay. The immunity case. Fascinating. Nobody gets it. Nobody gets it. Some wonderful commentary I was listening to. I love, my personal favorite is Andy McCarthy. I think he is just the best because he adds a practical application to it with kind of a New York Bronx or Queens, I don't know, sensibility or whatever it is. He really does it. And the question is simply this. And let me ask you this question. When anybody, have you and your friends ever talked about immunity? Probably not. Be honest. But if they do, here's the question. The question is not what should be done to help Trump. The question is, what rule do you want to prevent Joe Biden from being prosecuted? What? This case isn't about Trump. It's about Joe Biden. So whatever you do to Trump, if you say, well, presidents have an unlimited, unqualified, unconditional immunity from all acts during their tenure. You sure about that? Yeah. Biden? Oh, no, not Biden. Wait a minute. You can't say for Trump, but not for Biden. That's the issue. The issue is not whether was this within the scope of his duties. Does it? What do you want Biden to get away with? And what Herr said, the prosecutor said, he said, now you understand why they're not going to prosecute. Can you imagine Joe Biden taking the stand? He's absolutely right. By the way, does anybody think Joe Biden's faking this? I don't. Not in the least. I thought he had a bit of the Sicilian flu at first. No way. No way. Nope. And believe me, this also helps Hunter because they're going to say, would you leave these people alone? See, they don't do that with Trump. I say, oh, no. You keep going for God. No. If God forbid, tragically, Hunter were to let's say, were to, perhaps expire in the course of the, resuscitate them, keep prosecuting. You got to teach these people a lesson. No, you don't understand. I want viciousness. I want a ruthless viciousness. I want a savagery. I want a focused, I want them to be ground into pumice, into talc. I want them to be through a pyroclastic dust, a huge blast of I mean, I want them to be a grease spot. So immunity today, most probably limited immunity. We'll see what happens. I can guess all day long. They said that the for whatever it's worth, the oral arguments were extremely fascinating. I don't understand what the Supreme Court does. I'm still trying to get over the fact that they punted when it came to the social media case. They said, well, standing. We know what standing's about. Why didn't you just deny cert and say, look, they don't have standing. We're not gonna take the case. Law students will learn these things about ripeness, justiciability, federal question, case or controversy. Is this a political question? Ripeness, defenses, standing, defenses to bringing the Supreme Court case or a federal case. There's no federal question here. It's we're a court of limited jurisdiction. We know this. We know what ripeness is. Ripeness is a case. It's not come to fruition. We don't know what's going to happen yet. We got to wait. We're not going to wait till this case runs through. It's almost like bringing a case where somebody says, I could have been killed. Damnum obsque injuria, a wrong without an injury. Okay? This is just crazy. This idea of standing, do you have a stake in the case? Standing has always been easy. Were you injured? Yeah. Did the defendant do it? Yeah. And would a favorable ruling help you in this one? Yeah. You got standing. I don't know. I don't understand why they did this. I have no idea. Now, the case which is the most important, the case which is the most critical, and let me explain this one and say this again to you. It sounds like the most boring, which was the Chevron case. Friday, they overruled a 40-year precedent in Chevron against natural resources defense. This gave preferences to agency experts and agency tribunals and agency rulings when the law is ambiguous. And the decision is going to be bigger than Roe, bigger than Dobbs, bigger than anything. We live in an agency jurisdiction where agencies determine. If you have a problem and there is an agency that controls clean water or emissions or FDA, vaccines, whatever it is, normally you would say, okay, we're going to go to court, we're going to litigate, we're going to have them. Because of the Chevron case, there is this preference that says, no. The agencies themselves, they write the laws. They will determine what's ambiguous or not. They are the ones who determine. And if you, not courts and not the Congress. And there's been this stranglehold. CDC, Fauci, these unelected people, this was destroyed by the Chevron case. It's the greatest thing that's happened in recent history. And it sounds kind of boring, an agency, federal regulations. Absolutely huge, as we say in Hell's Kitchen. Huge. It was huge. 6-3, 6-3, 6-3, always 6-3. And now you know why it's important? It's the greatest thing Trump ever did, was give us a by the way, you've got this weird, like this Laverne and Shirley, these three, they're just sitting around. Bless their hearts, the dames. You've got KBJ or Katanji. You got Elena Kagan and Sotomayor. The three, always three. Boom, 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 boom. The immunity case is going to be okay. It's good. It's going to be. Let's just see what happens. The other case that was huge Friday, which we're going to talk about, this was another 6-3 case. This was this fellow Joseph Fisher was charged with violating, the J6 case. And the court said the statute bars or whatever obstruction of an official. It applies to evidence tampering, destruction of records or documents. About 300 people. 300 people are going to be affected favorably. This is huge. Absolutely, positively, incredibly huge. But nobody mentions Antifa. And another one, too, another great ruling, which was fantastic. These homeless encampments in California is one of the worst things ever. Gorsuch, writing for the majority, said that the Eighth Amendment, which bans cruel and unusual punishment, serves, quote, I quote, many important functions, but it does not authorize federal judges to dictate this nation's homelessness policy. Instead, he said this should fall on the American people. So in California, when you've got these you've got these encampments of not homeless, bums, degenerates, drug addicts, criminals, outcasts, losers, lunatics, the flotsam and jetsam of humanity. Quit giving me these euphemistic things. For some reason, we're not talking about somebody we're talking about people who've just given up, people who are encouraged. They can come in some of these bigger parts of California in particular, Beverly Hills, and they're going to do the same thing. I hope they're doing it in Kensington outside of in Philly. They're going to pick these people up, pick up all your crap, water down the hose, and get out of here. So then they're all going to feed into places like LA and other parts of the country where the mayors have said, we are never going to stop the sanctuary for people, not only illegals, but these degenerate, oh no, squatters, camps, home, no. This is the greatest news ever. Judas Goat Barbecue says, I work in medicine. What's not often remembered is Biden's brain aneurysm in 1988. He was unconscious for 5 hours with abnormal spinal fluid. That's likely a factor in his cognitive decline. It certainly is hard to rule out. He had that subarachnoid aneurysm. And as you know, Judas, thank you for your kindness. There's an expression, you ain't the same when the air hits your brain. Remember, any of you, dear folks, any of you have a meniscus cartilage? I had a torn meniscus cartilage. How? I have no idea how I got it. And for years, there was this, when I was in high school, they had to go in and you had these scars like this, and they just basically ripped your knee apart going into the meniscus cartilage. Now, then arthroscopy. This is fantastic. Boop. Well, that's brain surgery today versus rip it open. It was serious. That didn't help. There were years when he was seemingly cogent, but I'm with you. It can't help. Let's talk about something else. Nobody wants to talk about Bobby Kennedy's heroin addiction or anybody's heroin addiction. God bless people for getting off, but do we have any kind of consideration? What if this guy gets stressed out, needs to go to a meeting or whatever the hell people do, and he's the president? He can't go and talk about top secret stuff. You don't think that's relevant? You don't think that's relevant? I do. But I want to go back to this business about these homeless. There was about a week when all of a sudden we noticed, I don't know where they came from. We walked outside the door and there's this guy in a box. He had a little box like you were a kid with no top to it. It was just a cardboard wall, and he's inside, and they're doing. I've never been around heroin. Never saw it. Nobody I knew ever did it that I know of. And I'm walking out there. Here's this guy cluttering up. Kids are walking by, and they're just passed out, and they're just shooting themselves up. And I'm thinking to myself, pick them up, pick this crap up, get a hose, say, get out of here. You can't do this. I can't do this. Can I set up a squatters camp in front of the door to the Department of Justice? No. Well, why not? I like that. I like the ambiance. Can I go in front of the White House? Can you get near the White House? This is ridiculous. This is one of the best decisions ever. I don't know where this came from. You want to help homeless people? Great. These aren't homeless. You give them a nice name. Illegal. They're undocumented. They're illegal violators. They're sovereignty burglars. I've had enough of this. Listen to me. We're winning. You may not realize this. You may not think it's happening. You may feel down. Oh, no. Oh, we're winning. Oh, no. We are winning like you can't believe. We're winning. I never thought it would be like this. It's changing in droves. And we have these internecine kind of intramural fighting going on among this rancid, horrible Democrats. I've got a friend of mine, great guy, who said, boy, that Biden, said, don't talk to me about this. He's been like this since 2017. You didn't know this? You didn't know this? What are you, stupid? You didn't know this. You're telling me that? You didn't know this. G7, nobody noticed anything. That stupid dimwit, that Jadrul, Karine Jean-Pierre with that stupid wig, with this I'm telling you, Maxine Warner, they got this wig that it cuts off their brain or something. She's walking around with her bush. Well, it's called a cheap fake. And then you got that stupid tater. He looks like a sebaceous cyst, like a pimple. This Brian Stelter, they drag his arse out of nowhere to try to revivify CNN. This is the most ridiculous thing in the world. He's saying, oh, it's called, let me explain, a cheap fake. You thought that was a cheap fake. So from G7, when you've got Georgia Maloney, who's going up and saying, no, over here, nobody noticed that until the debate. What was so special about the debate? What was it? I don't know. I thought in many respects he was better. I thought he was better. I swear to God, he was answering some questions. He was saying something about whatever it was. I don't understand. Why are you pretending now that you've noticed for the first time this thing now? Don't insult my intelligence. Don't tell me all of a sudden you realize, oh my God. Seriously, because that makes you as incompetent as this guy. See, I don't understand this. So they don't know this? Oh, I knew this. Well, guess what? And the whole world knows this now. So I'm going to pretend that, okay, you didn't know this until now. All right. That's okay. They actually want you, but I want you to be happy. I want you to be happy. I want you to smile. Either way, Trump wins. Don't you understand this? If Pops takes it all the way to November, it's done. And if all of a sudden they bring in Gavin Newsom, let me tell you what Gavin Newsom's going to say. By the way, rumor has it, I hear today he's already cleaned off like 2 weeks ahead of it. He's got because they're watching him. They're looking at media buys, they're looking at website buys, they're looking at all of his money, his expenditures, his PACs, and all this stuff. They're watching him carefully. You're not going to hear this. You're not going to hear this on TV. Of course not. But here's the best thing. I would say, Gavin, don't do this now. Don't come in now because you're going to lose. You look like you're like the relief pitcher now in the middle of nowhere. They're going to bring you in, and if you don't, if you don't win, could this be held against you? Are they going to say, "Hey, listen, don't worry, you're on for 2008 or 18? What am I trying to say? 28. Come on in, 28. But right now, do us a favor. Just kind of pretend that you're in the offing. Just do something. We don't expect you to win, and don't worry if you don't." How do you know they're not going to say, "Wait a minute, this guy's terrible"? What happens if remember, Ron DeSantis was a disaster. This was a guy that I don't know if he's ever going to be recovered because he was so bad. He was terrible. Great as a governor, but he was horrible. If Gavin Newsom jumps in now at the last minute and he's not prepared, they're handing him this, and he fails, or we find out this guy sucks. If they didn't know that Joe was out of his tree, they may not know that Gavin Newsom is an idiot. We have no idea. Have you ever really seen him speak? I haven't. I don't know much about him. He's what? His favorability ratings in California is next to nothing. So he may say, you know what? I don't know if I want to. I want to go in on my term. I want to go in. I want to tease the group. I want to, well, here I am. I want to come in. I want to do all this stuff. I want to move. And then next thing you know, and you start to like me and I go on the shows and I build up the momentum. Oh, Gavin, please run. Okay. If you want, as opposed to boop. And then he goes in fighting. He has got to hit the ground running and he may not be prepared. And Trump may just say, who are you? What are you doing here? You were the one who said, how can you possibly be running when you said last week that Biden was doing great? So were you lying then or are you lying now? You said he was doing a great job. You sat in front of, with Ron DeSantis, for some reason, you were debating. You said the two things that you two had in common, or things you two had in common, was that neither of you were going to be on the ballot. So here you are. You're a liar. You're a liar. And not only that, let's talk about how you're doing in California at 40% or whatever it is. And the Supreme Court, you've got homeless. Are you going to turn this country into, show pictures of California, show pictures of LA? Do you want us to be like this? You allowed this beautiful country of yours, LA, where all the beautiful people, these lefty progressive lunatic Hollywood types are so stupid, they wouldn't dare complain. You think Robert Downey Jr. likes living? Maybe they're in Malibu or whatever, but do you think he likes living in some place with this crap? Do you think they like this? No. But they got to keep their mouth shut because Hollywood is dead. The moment Oppenheimer was no big tour de force. What was that about? Hollywood's dead. The blockbusters, the Godfathers, the Dirty Harry, whatever it is, it's done. So they got to keep their mouth shut. They're a waste of time. But if you would allow this to happen in LA, you want this guy to be your president? Oh, dear God. Even Muriel Bowser in DC finally said, look, enough's enough. Oh, no. See, let me tell you something. They may tell Gavin Newsom, listen, you can't do this. Democratic operatives may say, nonsense. If you don't do it now, you're through. We'll kill you in 2028. You'll never run. You got to jump in now. Parachute you in, and at the last minute decide what you're going to do. So this is fantastic. I hope you recognize this. I hope you exalt. I hope you celebrate. This is wonderful news. And the only thing I ask of President Trump is just tell the world what you want to do. Give people vision. Don't talk anymore about how bad. We know. Let other people will talk. The Democrats are saying how bad Biden is. The Democrats are. Let them do it. This is beautiful, my friends. This is absolutely beautiful. Be happy. Are you happy? Are you happy? Are you happy? I want you to be happy. Remember something. I'm not going to tell you things are going great when they're not. Things are going great. You should be happy. Oh, this is, and it's about time. We've been through hell. We have been through utter, unimaginable hell. And we're going to win this. We will be vindicated, dear friends. We will be vindicated. Now, do me a great and a glorious favor. My beloved, my wife, Mrs. L, has Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. It is the preeminent, the one, the only, the inimitable, the ineffable, the ineluctable YouTube channel devoted to fighting against child predation, human trafficking, and promoting digital safety. This is the link. Just go to this link right there. Click that right there, and you will be, it's just perfect. Click it. Okay? Click it. And follow her on YouTube and on X or Twitter at Lynn's Warriors as well. The video that people are going nuts over, which you people hear, what? Let me just say this. Baby farms. You heard me. Anybody talking about that? No. You're never going to hear that. Never now, never. You're not hearing anything. This is going to be around forever. If you believe in the future, this, Gandhi said you can always tell about the savagery or whatever, or compassion of a country by how they treat their animals. Well, let me add children to that. What's happening to kids is so barbaric, you can't even imagine. So watch this. There's also good news and good tips. Lynn's Warriors, do me a favor and follow her now. Believe me, the fight, we have many fights. We have to fight for the Constitution, the fight for liberty, the fight for who we are, for law and order, for just being, the fight for our republic, not our democracy. You know the routine. You know the story because you're smart as a whip. And God bless you for that. So let me tell you something. Judas Gold Barbecue, thank you. Raul Rodriguez, Edie Crowley. By the way, I missed this. I'm sorry, Edie. AOC was in the Bronx Zoo show. Yes, she is just, dear God. Thank you for that, Edie. Did not mean to miss that one. Ryan, thank you, sir. Call me Red. Thank you, sir. Raul Rodriguez. Greg Powell, the new member. Thank you. I am invigorated. I am excited. I cannot wait for the immunity case to come down today. The last case of the term. We got the wind at our backs, my friend. We are producing. We are going to win this bigly. This is going to be step one in the trouncing, the crushing. We've got to make sure they are crushed. Just chop them off at the root so they don't grow back. Look for the markers using oncology terms. We have to blast them. Donald Trump is a chemotherapy, is a radiation for this cancer that has infected our beloved republic. It's just true. I know this may sound dramatic to you, but it's absolutely true. And God bless you. You are wonderful. I am honored to spend an hour and 10 minutes this morning with you. It makes my day. I write notes. I think to myself, I got to tell him this. I want him to understand. Here's something. Here's good news. And remember too, this is my hat. I bought a bunch of these, but I love this. It says the rules have changed. The rules have changed. It's not make America great again. Yeah, it's nice, but the rules have changed. Everything's changed. Everything. It's everything. Supreme Court, local, law and order, culture, social media, everything. The rules have changed. And we're going to win, my friends. We're going to win. We're going to win. I mean that sincerely. There we go. Joe. Don't tell me they weren't ready to muffle that mic. All right, dear friends. Have a great and a glorious and a wonderful day. God bless America. God bless you. Thank you so much. We'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. I'll be keeping track of what's going on, filling you in tonight about what you're missing. Spread the word. Make sure you are subscribed. Lionel Nation, Lionel Nation, Lionel Nation. Tell your friends. Lionel Nation. An hour and 11 minutes of uninterrupted, commercial-free truth. And don't forget, follow Mrs. L one more time right here at Lynn's Warriors, fighting the cause that no one's fighting for. These ones jump in until it loses its momentum, and then they go to something else. My beloved has been here since day one, fighting for kids, fighting for everybody, but in particular, the most vulnerable. And how, remember, the two biggest industries, not crypto, not stocks, not EFTs and all this stuff. No. It's extortion and human trafficking. Absolutely. All right. Enough is enough. Have a great day, my friends. Don't ever change a mean that sincerely. And until we meet again, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da.